Well, good morning. Welcome to Thursday, and this is my live streaming lesson today. So, I want to welcome everybody who is coming on today. We're going to have a good lesson. I believe it's going to be valuable, and we're going to talk about some clouds and color mixing and just see what we are going to be able to mix up. So as you're coming on, let me hear from you in the chat box. I want to know who's here. I want to welcome you from Facebook if you're coming in from Facebook land. Also on my YouTube channel, I am now live streaming there as well, at the request of some of you who said, I'm not on Facebook, which I get that. So if you're not on Facebook, you might be seeing me on YouTube right now. So welcome all of my Facebook friends and also YouTube followers. I appreciate everybody coming in. I'm going to check the chat box. As you're coming in, let me know who's here. Give me a shout out. I want to know who you are and where you're from. I'm sure I got a bunch of my regulars coming in and probably some new people as well. So give me a little shout out in the chat box. So today we're talking clouds, and I developed a lesson for you guys. If you're new to my channel, I'm Linda Glover Gooch. Welcome to coming in on my feed or on YouTube, whichever one. Thank you guys all for New Zealand. Lorna, welcome. A long ways from New Zealand. Thank you. Gwen, hello from Sandia Park, New Mexico. I used to live in Santa Fe, so I know where you are. Hi, Nancy. Welcome. And Darla from Arkansas. We got people coming in. Sharon from Wickenburg. Welcome, my other Arizonan. Key Woodman Art from Atlanta. I have to take a minute to see this before I get busy working because I love to see who's here. Cheryl from Virginia, Jay from Connecticut, Barbara from Texas. We got people coming from everywhere. So I'm excited about that. Some of you are coming in on YouTube because I can see that. So thanks for joining my YouTube live stream as well. Cynthia, South Carolina, Katrina Sharp. Hi, Katrina. Wow, that's cool. We're related. So I'm looking at relation there. Luann from Kansas City and Majori from New York State. This is awesome. I'm so excited you guys are all coming in. So I think you'll be glad that you came. I worked really hard to put together a really detailed lesson for you all, and it's about clouds. So hi, Diane from Tucson, another Arizonan. So I have to stop playing in the chat box because I know you guys are here to hear what you want to learn, right? So again, I am Linda Glover Gooch. I am a painter. I am a teacher. That's why a lesson is coming to you today. I think I'm a real good encourager. I try to encourage people. And I'm also the creator of the online courses that sit at masterfulpainting.com. So without holding up anything else, first remember to share this out and like it if you would. It helps the algorithm. You guys all know that story. And that would be really appreciated on my end. It helps YouTube to like me better, and it helps Facebook to like me better as well. If they can like people, it's a machine. I don't know. So clouds is what we're talking about, but you know the drill. I always bring you into Arizona. I live in Mesa, Arizona, and so I always have to share a very beautiful image or two. And, you know, I'm just a little bit sad. We just really haven't had a super dynamic monsoon season. We had a little bit, but not dynamic. But the other night, I always go out at night to kind of check things over. And we had this gorgeous moon, but look at those clouds. So this is 10 o'clock p.m. in Arizona. And it was like daylight out there. It was not quite yet the full moon. It was getting close. The moon looks really little in this image. But look at how warm and lit up the clouds are. And honestly, that's not a lot of city lights because I shot that picture east towards the Usery Mountain, and that's going out into the desert out there. So there's not a lot of city lights underneath that. So it was just amazing how beautiful that was. And that's my monster cactus right outside my studio door. So that's the evening. And we actually were headed into a very beautiful day. When I shot this at 10 o'clock that night, we were heading into a gorgeous day. And so I shot this picture because I just thought this was so related to the color mixtures that I'm going to show you, those soft, beautiful grays. I mean, I just think that's so gorgeous. And so I just grabbed some pictures in the sky. Now, that was a gorgeous sky. This was on, I think, Monday night or Tuesday night. We had just beautiful, beautiful skies. So awesome clouds here in Arizona. And I know all of you guys as well do have great clouds too. I just like to share a little bit of that. So we've got someone from Germany, Rita, welcome. And Jay made it. He's in Connecticut and he jumped over to YouTube. That's awesome, Jay. Thanks for letting me know. All right. So what are we doing today? Today, I am going to talk about mixing beautiful grays. Now, what I'm going to take you through is the grays that I use. So I have a 10-minute video that I'm going to run. It's a lesson that I put together. It's a 10-minute video, and it's going to cover these mixtures and those. Let me get me out of there because I'm covering up the corner. It's going to take me through those color swatches that I put down there in the bottom of the image. So I laid out my tubes and some color swatches. So there is a longer video. And so what I've kind of done is really shorten this down to get it to a 10-minute video, just because I try to only hit this for about 30 minutes. So I condensed the video. So I talk some in it, and my color mixing, like my mixing is real quick, but I do give you detailed stuff. And so if you miss something, you can go back and watch the replay. It will be there. I do have a longer video that will eventually be available for people to have. That's a little bit slower, a little bit more detailed. I talk a little bit more about some stuff. But first, I'm going to show you a little video, some painting sections talking about these colors in a painting. Then I'm going to go into mixing, and it's just short of 10 minutes. So if you guys are ready, I am going to roll this video, and we'll just take this 10 minutes in. In this video, you can see all the gray blues coming in, starting with my air color. I really vary my blues. This is what I want to get across to you, how all those variations of the gray blues, the lighter values, the darker values, the cooler grays, the warmer, the tones, the pink tones, it adds great variation to your cloud paintings. And you need to really practice this so that you do bring that beauty out that we see out there. So you can see all the variations quite clearly, and then you can see where the touches of the pinks are down in parts of that lower area, and some over to the left. I like to just dramatize some of those pinks in my clouds. Then here's that basic air color and the mixture of the white, the ultramarine blue, and the cad red light. You can get that mixture off of my YouTube channel. And then these other blues, these gray blues, are mixed with some different blues. I use Severs blue, which is a Williamsburg. You can use cerulean blue, touches of cobalt, and then some complements to warm it up. And then also the cobalt blue will influence different areas. It'll be mixed with white, it'll mix into the air color. They all kind of work together. It's sort of a team effort with these gray blues. And then again, like I said, I do like to add the touches of the pinks and the warm colors, which are down there in the bottom part of the cloud. All right, work on those skies. Get those gray blues mixed up. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about all my grays, blues, pinks, all the tones that I use when I am painting clouds. So I've simplified my palette here. This is just really cloud color. And this is a basic outline. Occasionally I could maybe add another blue or add a different red, but I would say 80% of the time this is the direction I go. So I use a Rembrandt titanium white. I use a cad orange. This one happens to be Grumbacher. I do like it. Occasionally I may have a different brand. I pretty much stay with the Grumbacher Cad Red Light. I've been using it for so many years. I like the amount of yellow or orange that's in it. It leans towards an orange opposed to a true red. Now I use Williamsburg Severs Blue. You can substitute cerulean. It will work fine as well. I like this Williamsburg Severs because it has a little bit more punch. Now I still have cerulean and occasionally I use it for different things, but typically when I'm working on my clouds, this is my go-to. Then I use Holbein Cobalt Blue Pale. Now I did a video about cobalt blues and it's on my YouTube channel. You do not have to buy the Holbein. You can use different brands. This is my go-to. I like it. It is extremely expensive now. So I did test some other cobalt blues. So also then I will use a Rembrandt Ultramarine Blue Deep. Then you can see down here, this is my color swatching. What I'm going to show you in this video is I'm going to make the air color in a dark and a medium value, then white and cobalt blue. I'm going to mix some silver grays and then warm them up a little bit warmer. And then there are some pink tones. What I'm working on here is the air color of the clouds and not the highlight. So the basic palette has been loaded. So I'm going to start and I'm going to mix the air color first. I'm going to start with white and then the Ultramarine Blue Deep. I've told you about, I use the Grumbacher Cad Red Light. There's a lot of the other Cad Red Lights that are too red and they just don't work. Now, obviously more white. So what I do is going to pull this over and actually I'm going to start slow with this white so I don't put too much in. You know, I think it looks a little blue. I think it needs a little more red. Better. Now, easy. Okay, so real quickly, those are my two main air colors. And I know a lot of you have studied with me or you've seen the videos on air. I call it air. I call it atmosphere. The reason I call it that is because it kind of developed for me when I used to work out at the Grand Canyon a lot, all that gray blue out there. And so that's where that came from. And then when I would teach 5-day workshops, plein air workshops out there, I had to figure out a way to get that across to people that encompasses your whole painting. So in cloud paintings, it's really a major color for me. And then it does fall down into the foregrounds, which I have some YouTube videos that talk about that as well. But that was my dark air color first, and then I pulled that white over, and that was the mid air color. Now I'm going to go on to the rest of those colors. I was just a little jumping in there. Mix here, white and cobalt blue, doesn't get very hard to figure that one out. All right, now these are the fun mixtures here, the stuff that really makes for beautiful clouds, and they're silver grays. So taking a mid value here. All right. Let's pull in a little bit of blue over into it. That's the white and cobalt blue. Now I'm going to think complements, which is orange. So I'm going to grab a little bit of my cat orange. And again, I am so respectful of the orange. Now what I want to do is probably add some white because that's pretty dark. I'm going to steal this white off of there so I didn't use it there. That's a fairly dark value for some of the silver grays because the silver grays lean much lighter values than these are typically shadows. This is typically up in the upper part of the clouds working down into the shadows, but the cooler areas are up higher on your clouds. So that's pretty good right here. Then let's make this silver gray color, and what we would do is from some of this, let's move it over. Let's add more white. Now, my Sevres blue is pretty intense. Now, I will alter this to get it to where I want it to go. So I can see that it needs to be warmer. So I'm going to grab a little bit of orange. Now I can see a little bit of the Sevres blue. And again, you can use cerulean. And I'm going to go slow here because this is a lot more potent than cerulean is. And it needs more white. So that's getting closer right there on the top. You can see that this one's lighter, and then I've laid some over here next to that. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. That's such a beautiful gray. These are such beautiful grays, and then the more you work with them, the more you'll learn how to maneuver them. Then the warm pinks are worked up into those grays. So when I make my warm pinks, so white, a little bit of red, then what I typically will do is I will take that up into my clouds. But one thing I want you to see here is when it starts working into the shadow colors, it begins to get this type of stuff going on, which is sort of in the swatch. I think you can see how some beautiful tones. Ooh, look at that. Just with my knife right there. Gorgeous stuff that makes some radiant light and some glowing light. So there you go. You got the ingredients here to cook up a fabulous cloud. Okay, so hopefully that helped you to see those color mixtures being manipulated and the thought process. If you noticed, the air colors started, then there are those white and cobalt blue, and then there is the other grays that are born from that air color. Did you notice that? Like, I just didn't pull white and start adding more blues and complements. I started with that air color, dropped it down, started warming it, lightening it, influencing it. And, and as I moved over in that next pile, influencing it with like the Sevres blue or cerulean blue, whichever one that you would use. So that lines those up. Now, those tubes there, I went through all of those colors. And then, on the bottom swatches, that bottom right swatch, all I did was I just kind of laid the dark color and lightened it and down into those pinks. When I mixed those pinks, there was white and cad red, and I grabbed a little bit of orange, and the words got kind of cropped out or edited out of there. So it was white, cad red light, and cad orange. And then I showed you how that moves into some of the gray tones, and what a beautiful, beautiful mixture it makes. So is everybody on? Are you guys all there? Somebody give me a thumbs up if all of this is working. It says we are still live, but I'm not seeing any kind of posting in the comment box. So either you guys all went to sleep on me or the live stream dropped and it's not telling me. Okay, you're there. All right. Did I put you guys asleep with that color mixing? Was that like hypnotizing? You guys are usually a little more chatty over there. You're throwing me off. Hi, Connie. You said you missed the first part. You can go back and watch it. It will reload. Okay, good. You guys are all there. What's going on is I woke you guys all up. That's what it is. It just had to wake you guys up to get people to just get going here. Cool. I'm glad that was helpful. Thank you guys also for chiming in there and letting me know you're all there. Sometimes you're like, am I talking to myself here? Is there anybody out there? So hopefully that was helpful. And those are the colors that I use predominantly all the time for my clouds. Predominantly, I said about 80%. I will add occasionally different blues, but you can see all that. You can see all that dark air color. Now this is a sunset, so it's got a few other different things going on. But that's all that air color down in there. And then some of the silver grays, out along some of the other areas. But predominantly, that is where most of my clouds get built from those. Occasionally, I'll throw in an indigo blue. Occasionally, there's a few other blues that I'll use. But thank you, Rita. I appreciate it. And thank you guys all for those really nice comments. I really appreciate it. That's nice. You're all saying that's a real good way. You're all saying I mesmerized you. That's a very sweet way of maybe saying, oh, yeah, we're here. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. So that's a really valuable lesson. Now what you have to do is you have to go do that. You have to go mix those. Now the Grumbacher red, cad red light has a little bit more of an orange tint. So not all cad red lights are going to work and get the gray. The reason I took that is because I don't want purple, violet. I don't want that. And all of this, like I said, derived from the Grand Canyon. And I have found that it works better in clouds to hang on the gray side, right? But we don't want to go so gray with a cad orange. So this is a good way to remember what cad orange does to your blue, your white, an ultramarine blue, or a cobalt blue, plus a cad orange, really takes you to like an elephant gray. And that can be a hair drab looking. So if you go with a cad red light, and let's say you have a different brand and it's pushing it violet, because the cad reds are so expensive, you don't want to not use one. What you can do, I've done it in workshops before, when you mix your white and your red, then take a little pinpoints of orange. And like I told you in the video, I'm super respectful of those reds. Take little pinpoints and drop them in and start taking that original pile, which probably was a white and an ultramarine blue, and whatever cad red light you have. You could have a Winsor Newton, you could have a Holbein, whatever. If it's looking kind of violet, just throw a little bit of orange into it, but do it slow. And you'll see it start to move towards the gray. Depending on how dark you were, value-wise, you may have to add a little more white to it. Sort of depends on the proportions that you get put in there. So that's basically what I mix up for my body of the clouds. My highlights are always done with a very bright, warm white, which I'll always use a white and either a yellow ochre or a white and a cad yellow medium. And it's not a yellow, it's a warm white. So predominantly, that's where I go with those. So hopefully that was helpful. Now I'll leave this on Facebook. You guys can go back and watch it again. You guys are just all talking how much you liked it. You finally woke up from the nap. I'm looking here, not seeing. What I'm looking for is if there's any questions. I'm over here looking in the chat box to see if anybody is. Some of you said you're late. You're late. Don't worry, you can go back and watch the replay. It's only a 10-minute video, so it won't take you very long to go back and watch it. Plus, I go through those colors very, precisely what those are. So I'm just checking to see if there's any questions before I move on. Yep, Jay, there will be a replay. It will be sitting there on the YouTube channel. You can go back. You guys can turn it on, and you can pause it, and you can mix and make yourself a color swatch like you see down there in the picture. Right here, that color swatch of mine is done on a piece of board canvas that I cut off the top of a board that it was an 8x16 and I needed it to be a 6 by 14 or something. So that's just a piece of boarded canvas, but you could put it on whatever. But make yourself a decent sized little swatches. So that's what those are. So let me tell you what is coming up. This is where we are. This is what's happening. I want you all to know, some of you might already know, but this weekend, now, if you want to see these colors in action, what I mixed up, this weekend, I'm doing a free webinar workshop on clouds. So I'm going to do a demo, and I will be using all these mixtures that you just saw. I'm going to do a demo. It's Saturday morning at 10, this Sunday afternoon at 4, and on Monday the 23rd at 1. Now, if you want to register, you have to register. This won't be just on Facebook or anywhere like that. You've got to register, and you can get to the registration page by going to lindaglovergooch.com/webinar. That will take you to a page that shows you these dates, and you can pick the date that you want. So it's about an hour-long webinar. I talk to you about colors again. I talk to you about my process and my thought process in doing clouds. And then I do the demo, actually the painting demo. Then you can see the clouds being painted, and there's questions and answers and all that good stuff. So that's this Saturday. It's right around the corner. Let's say you're going out of town and you can't make any of those webinars. If you go ahead and register, you'll get an email with a link to the replay. But make sure you watch the replay within the next few days, because depending on which webinar you register for and whatever, the replay will only be up for about 4 or 5 days, and then it gets taken down. So lindaglovergooch.com/webinar. Type that in to your, I'll put it here too, in the chat box for you guys as well. .com/webinar. Sure I spelt all that right. Sure I spelt my name right. If you go there to lindaglovergooch.com/webinar, that will take you to the registration page. So that will be a good plan for you. Now, I am looking at a question here. Maybe, let me get rid of the little banner out of our face, and I'm going to put this question up. And then we will move on, which is Elizabeth. So Elizabeth says she's a watercolor painter, but thinks the mixtures could be adjusted to watercolor washes, which they absolutely could. There's no reason why. Or you could try gouache. And I have done them in gouache. Let me grab a book really quick. Don't go anywhere, anybody. Sit tight. I will show you a gouache picture. Don't go anywhere. Because you're talking about gouache. Now, they can. But let me put this up and see. Let me get rid of that slide. So this is, it's backwards for me. This is a gouache. There we go. See all those grays, blues, everything I showed you. Now I talked about the highlights. So those highlights are around the outside edge, but all those dark blues, you can see my air color. You can see my silver grays, and they get really lighter as it goes to the horizon. All right, that's gouache. So I know that those mixtures, and I use the same mixtures. I don't use like an alizarin in that because they go a little bit too purple, but I have a cad red light, so gouache would work too. So you ought to and I'll be curious, Elizabeth, to see how that goes for you in watercolors as well. So great question. Let me look and see if you, Elizabeth said, have I participated in Cowgirl Up in Wickenburg? Yeah, I've done it 19 years. Actually, we are super excited. We're going into our 20th year in March of Cowgirl Up, and I have been there every year. The show just came down. It'll be going back up in March, a new show. So it'll be our 20th year, and I've been there every year, so it's quite a celebration. I think there's about 7 of us that have been in Cowgirl Up every year, so we're going to have a big party. How long is the webinar? Marjorie wants to know the webinar lasts just about an hour. Just about an hour. Because I go in and I talk about thought process. I tell you where I'm going, give you some ideas on it. So it will be about 1 hour. Let me see if there's any others. Thank you guys for answering questions. I've got secretaries on board. You guys are answering questions in the chat box. It's okay if you, Pam says she might have registered twice for Sunday, and that's not a big deal. The only inconvenience is you're just going to get emails saying, hey, your webinar is starting tomorrow. Hey, your webinar is starting in 1 hour. So you'll just get duplicate emails because there's a little automated thing. If you signed up, it sends you a reminder at certain times. So you'll get multiple reminders. But if you're not bothered by that, just ignore them and show up for the webinar that you plan on attending. So yeah, and if you need to register for a different date, you can register twice for a different date. It's not going to matter. Now, also what's happening is, so we've got the webinar coming. You know that's this weekend, Saturday at 10 a.m., Sunday at 4 p.m., Monday at 1 p.m. We've got that. And then also I want to alert you to what's on the blog at lindaglovergooch.com. You know, I always let you know what's happening on the blog. We've got the hard and soft edges in paintings. Now, you know, in that picture right there, you can see a lot of those soft grays that I just showed you how to mix. Like just to the left of my image, depending on if you're on a phone, you might have a hard time seeing some of this. Sometimes these lessons are better to view on an iPad or a laptop, a little bit bigger screen. But you can see that soft gray just to the left of my picture there. But anyway, you can get over to the blog, and you can get there by lindaglovergooch.com/120. I have a whole different lesson for you there. It's not this video today. It's a completely different lesson. So you can get over there and get that lesson there and read up about hard and soft edges. So again, that's at lindaglovergooch.com/120. Or if you just hit my website, lindaglovergooch.com, you can hit the blog tab. And hey, you guys, I have a boatload of lessons on that blog for you guys. So use that and, you know, grow and learn from that. I've put a lot of great lessons. I think they're great anyway. Is that okay for me to think they're great? The reason why I think they're great is because I pick and choose out of paintings when I'm working on them. Like I video everything. Then I go in and I pick and choose like that I think are really important areas that will help you. All right, I'm 4 minutes over and I got a couple more things to tell you about. Let me all right. I think you guys can hear me. I have a workshop coming up. And it is next month. I will be at the Scottsdale Artist School. And that is October the 17th, 14th through the 17th. It's a 4-day workshop, painting skies. Thank you, Diane. I was getting a little trigger happy with my keys and I muted my mic. That is coming next month, 4 days at the Scottsdale Artist School, the 14th through the 24th. You can come and paint clouds with me all day long for 4 days. I put it right there on the screen. If you want to register or find out more information, you can call the school, or you can go online to my website, lindaglovergooch.com/workshop24, and you can find out everything you want to know and more right there. So that's coming next month, right around the corner. And then the last announcement I have for you, Arizona people or people that are close by, is Oil Painters of America. Their Western Regional exhibit is opening on October 18th at the Phippen Museum in Prescott, Arizona. I will be doing a live demonstration there on Saturday, the 19th, from 1:30 to 4. And I bet you could guess what I'm going to demo. I'm going to demo a decently sized, going to try to do a decent sized cloud scene. So, because I've got an hour, 1:30 to 4 is my demo time. So I will be doing a live demo there at the Oil Painters of America at Prescott, Arizona. Now, if you want to register, whatever, you need to go to oilpaintersofamerica.com. And let's see, right there on the bottom of the screen, oilpaintersofamerica.com. You need to go to their website and they will give you all the information. There is tickets. I don't know all the pricing on all of that. All I know is I'm showing up to do a demo on the 19th. So I would just absolutely love that if some of you guys show up and we get to meet face to face. That would be awesome. All right, you guys, I'm looking before we sign off. I am 7 minutes overtime right now. I'm sorry, I kept you longer, but I was chatty, I guess. And thank you, Connie. I appreciate it, all you guys. I really appreciate all your very nice comments and compliments. And thank you. Diane says the blog is great. There's all kinds of lessons there, from landscapes to clouds to sketching, all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, and maybe I'll see some of you at the workshop. I know that there's a couple spots left. So if you're thinking about it, call the school, because there are just a few spots left in that, and it's going to max out. So thank you, Lorna. I'm glad that you enjoyed the presentation. You can always reach out to me. You can always ask questions in this Facebook Live or on YouTube. For you YouTubers, if you put questions in there, I will be checking those over. Boy, otherwise, I think we're done. We did it. Now I know what's going on. Now I give you somebody there. We don't have Susan on today. She's at Pastel Live. She usually puts marching orders down in the comment box. And so she's not here to do that. So somebody needs to jump in and type in the comment box to get to the easel, because that's usually what my last marching orders are. And Susan beats me to it sometimes. She's like, get to the easel, get to work. And so that's our marching orders. Get over to your palette and start mixing up colors. All right, you guys. And we will, I will put a post out. I don't have my exact next going stream live on YouTube and Facebook scheduled yet. I'm having to watch some of my dates because of the workshop and the demo and all of that. And I have deadlines coming up for a couple museum shows and all that good stuff. But hey, I keep putting stuff out there. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hustle on over there and get subscribed there too, because you and hit the bell, and I'm always putting videos up. So I got new videos coming up all the time. All right, all you guys, I am excited that you all came. Thank you all so much. I appreciate that. Look, there we go. Marching orders from Diane. Get to that easel. Thanks, Diane. All right, you guys, get to work. Remember, stay encouraged. This is a long journey. It's not a sprint. It's the long haul. And the more you practice, the better you get. Practice is fun. It doesn't have to be laborsome. Just take it in small bites. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you all for showing up. Have a good day, and we will see you on the next live stream. Ciao.